Hello everyone, Johnny Hurricane here from GamersHeroes.com, and today I'll be going over 5 things that we loved about Gears 5. And if you want to know our full thoughts on the game, be sure to check out our review. Let's get started. First thing we're going to start off with is Jack. Jack is a robot. Normally I do not like robots because you can't trust AI, they're always going to turn on you. But Jack is a lovable dude. He not only fights side by side with you, but he also brings special abilities to the table that you wouldn't otherwise have. Want to go invisible and get around them snipers? Jack has you covered. Not sure which direction the enemy's coming from? Let him send out a pulse and you'll know where they're coming from, no problem. Poison gas? Don't worry, Jack has you shielded. Oh, what's that? Ambush? Sure, let's set a shock trap. Jack doesn't just fight for you, he literally changes the tide of battle for you. And to top it off, if there's a gun out there and you're in cover, Jack will pick it up and bring it to you. Now that is a good robot. Another thing that we loved about Gears 5 is the combat, and that of course stretches across all game modes: multiplayer, campaign, horde mode, and escape. The guns themselves feel like they have impact. That means when you land a shot, you know you land a shot. There's good feedback to it, and this is of course the best in a shotgun and a sniper rifle. I'm not much of a sniper though. I'm just saying that when you pull the trigger and you get that headshot and you hear the of the head exploding, you feel good. And that's important in a third-person shooter. The other big thing? Cover. It works like a dream. The main reason for this is, of course, because the sprint button and the cover button are the same button. So when you're running and you run into cover, you automatically go into cover. The only reason you're going out of cover is if you manually take yourself out of cover. Just makes everything a lot easier when they're the same button and they connect like that. Also, revives are like instant. Can be annoying in multiplayer, but in co-op, it's great. Something else that we loved about Gears 5 is just the general atmosphere of the game. I've got a couple of prime examples for this. First and foremost is when you go into a dark tunnel. When you're in a dark tunnel or a cave or whatever it is, the point is that you get this feeling that you're being watched. There's this foreboding presence all around you, no matter what you're doing. Low-key Dead Space vibes. It doesn't matter who you are, but once you get into that dark space and the lights go off and Jack's flashlight turns on, you slow yourself down and all of a sudden you're alert because you know something's about to go down. The other example I'm thinking is during Act 2 when you're on the skiff and you're in the ice level. It's very cold for the characters. And as they're talking about how cold it is and you're hearing the wind come by and seeing the snow and just looking at all the ice, if you've ever been cold in your life, you think to yourself, you know what? I don't like being cold either. That is the power of atmosphere. The ability to put a player or a person in a place that they are not actually in a movie, video game, whatever it is, and Gears 5 nails it. Also, Jack is your flashlight in those dark tunnels, so that's just another reason to love Jack. Moving back over to the action side of the game is the weapon variation. I'm a guy who generally sticks to 1 or 2 guns because they feel right, and that's what I like to do. In Gears, that was not the case. Pretty much every time a new weapon dropped, I'd go and check it out, and then I'd use it for a while just to get the hang of it. The best part is that there's multiples of each weapon type. Multiple shotguns, assault rifles, SMGs, snipers, even rocket launchers. They're not all winners, I will say that, but I like that there are a lot of options and most of them feel good. And while we're on the topic of variety, there's a massive enemy variety as well. From what I remember of Gears 4, there was massive complaint about the robot enemies. There are still robot enemies, but you also got the locusts and you also got the freaks. And that's not even including the mini bosses. And we're going to wrap it up with the last thing that we love, and that's just the executions and the environmental kills. I talked about earlier how headshots feel good. Well, they don't feel as good as revving that Lancer chainsaw up and going down an enemy right down the middle and just watching the blood splatter all over the screen. Now that of course is nothing new to Gears, but I'm just going to let you know that here it's also great. The new thing is environmental kills. I'm not just talking about a red barrel that you shoot and it explodes and kills an enemy. I'm talking about up on the ceiling, there's a big icicle, you shoot it, it falls and lands on top of an enemy, killing it. I'm talking about using these poison gas pipes to break down robots. I'm talking about shooting the ice under a lake so the enemies fall deep beneath, either freezing to death or just drowning. Either way, they're dead. I'm talking about Jack again. I'm talking about Jack using the steam machine in the village to mess up a bunch of freaking locusts as they're trying to flank you. Environmental kills in this game, thumbs up, and frankly, they should be in every other game going forward. There's a lot to love about Gears 5, and if you thought of something that I didn't mention, leave a comment and let me know what it is. But for now, if you liked what you saw and got what you needed, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys in the next video. Later, Gators.